Music has always been my entire world. From as early as I can remember, I was putting on living room performances, and I joined my first band when I was 10 years old, and by the time I was a freshman in high school, I was pulled out of school because I had been signed. I thought all of my craziest dreams were about to come true, but little did I know, I had a whirlwind of a few years on the horizon.
Are the majority of the people you work with men or women?
The majority of the people I work with are 100% men. I feel like the music industry in general it's a boys' club, 100%.
Recently, Ariana Grande put out an album, Eternal Sunshine. Of the 32 people involved in that album, only 4 of those people were women, including Ariana Grande herself. So that is a dramatic percentage of female representation in a very huge body of work that's very culturally relevant. Music is not supposed to be this way. There is supposed to be gender equality within it. There have always been female creators.
Yeah, and Joanna, I think, was the first recorded songwriter and poet in 2300 BCE, and the way that she wrote was many different cultures and religions and trying to bring everyone together and making music for everybody. So it was all inclusive, but then somehow on the path of humanity and society, we've decided to put gender roles into society. So the 1920s, we were in kind of a women's liberation era of starting to vote. Then once you get into the 1930s, you hit female trios and groups. Eventually, a lot of them had to end up quitting because they had responsibilities of societal roles, having to be mothers. In the 1940s, we're kind of in a war, which gave an empty space in the music industry. So women were invited then because they had to fill up space. And then you've got Billie Holiday and Ella Fitzgerald getting big. And then you hit 1950s, and there's kind of this ideology of the perfect family. Women were being placed in families to be like, have to take care of everyone. They couldn't have a professional life. When we hit 1960s and the civil rights movement, we start seeing kind of a political turn in music with Nina Simone and Janis Joplin. And then once you hit the 70s, Carole King, as legendary as she is, she was told that she would never make it, that she didn't have the look. Then we saw a turn in the 1980s, and I feel like this is really where the switch turned on for sexualization. Madonna is the first person that comes to mind. The product wasn't really about the talent, it was about the sexual appeal. And so that kind of just spiraled into the 90s. Luckily, we kind of had like the girl riot movement and kind of some rebellion. And then you hit the 2000s where we get like the bubblegum pop era, people like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, Destiny's Child, heavily sexualized. Then we hit the 2010s where executives and managers like Simon Cowell are signing these young female artists and essentially kind of grooming them into being what they need to be to please the male gaze, essentially.
Hi, I'm Annika Rose, and I'm a singer and a songwriter. When I was 13, I signed a development deal. It was an imprint on Psycho, so it was Simon Cowell and Louis Tomlinson from One Direction. You know, I think when you are 13 years old, you are discovering a lot about yourself. And even if I didn't have the clearest idea of what exactly I wanted, I knew what I didn't want. And it was hard. It was hard to be a 13-year-old literal child in a room full of grown men and say, no. But also, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. It's a very confusing thing, and I definitely had my fair share of struggles with figuring out what that balance looked like.
So much of the music industry is like sexualizing the musicians, especially if you're like, I do like a lot of pop music. Growing up, I'd be like, I don't know, 12, 14, and you go to these events and everybody goes, and there'd be people outside and they have like stacks of photos. I will never now sign a photo that's like not print, like if it's just like a sheet of printer paper, like I'll never sign, because I remember I found this photo on the internet, like with my autograph on it, like my real autograph. And it was a photo that was like super photoshopped. It was like my face on like some like porn star's body, or like just like something, like it just wasn't me. Like there's just so many like sketchy things like that. And I remember I was like, oh my God, that's like so humiliating. Like I hate that. So I learned that the hard way for sure. People who give me hope that the industry will change for women are women who have like already made it, like any female musician or band or like whatever, any artist I like who's a woman, I'm like, okay, you've made it. Like there's hope there.
My name's Chloe O'Brien. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, and music educator. So I started out with music when I was really young. I was pretty much still a kid. And at that point, I didn't even really know what production was. When I first decided to produce music, it was honestly kind of an accident. I was in college and I was signing up for my classes for the next semester, and I saw a class that was called Non-Linear Production Ideas for Songwriters. And I thought, that sounds cool. I'll try it out. And I got to the class and it was an Ableton class. I really still did not consider myself a producer at that point. And then I found the organization that I work for now in Boston. And it was a group of a bunch of women and gender minority people who were all music producers. I was given a sticker that said, I am a producer. And that kind of forced me to own it. And now it's been around like 7 years since then. I do think that as a female producer, I am treated differently than male producers. And I think female producers in general are treated slightly differently than male producers. When you're being addressed, sometimes I have felt overlooked or underestimated, or people not really expecting me to be a producer. If I'm in the room and there's like me and a guy and somebody is addressing us, they will say the producer and look at the guy without knowing anything actually about the situation. It's really empowering to be a female producer. It gives me the chance to bring my ideas to life and not need to rely on anybody else.
I'm in a tiny town in Colorado called La Vida because I am recording an album here with my very best friends. My best friends own a recording studio out here, and I figured the most enjoyable way and the most magical way for me to make music that I love is to do it with people that I love in a very beautiful place.
Yeah, it's super respectful, super professional. Yeah, and we're all really good friends, so we work really well together.
So Hannah has officially dubbed me the shaman of the project, and it's holding the vision, it's creating the space for her to work in a way that is really healing and prioritizing her emotional experience.
This is a dual concept album about what happens when you go to Los Angeles and you try to find success in the music industry, the traditional way, and how that leads you down a path of self-doubt. And that's a really important story for me to tell as an artist, because I want other musicians and other artists to know that you don't have to go down this traditional path in music and that you can pave your own way, and that's beautiful and that's okay. What gives me hope that the music industry can change for women is communities that I have seen along my path. There are so many people that are active about increasing gender equality.
I really think there's power in numbers. Any movement that's happened in history has had to take multiple people, multitudes of people, and we need male counterparts to get behind us with this and our allies to help change the narrative and the conversation and make change.
What is one empowering sentence that you could say to end the documentary?
Oh my God. Be yourself. It's a cliche for a reason. It is a cliche for a reason. And in order to be yourself, you have to know yourself and you have to learn yourself. take the time to do that.
Tomorrow's gonna be better. And baby, don't you worry. Tomorrow's gonna be better. Take a look in my eyes, let the time fly. You and me gonna be alright. 'Cause tomorrow's gonna be better.